Megyn Kelly holds Tapper to the fire. She said, "You seem to be running cover for the president," which he was absolutely, that's exactly what he was doing. I don't care how much he tried to pretend like that wasn't the case, how much he tried to, he write a whole book and blasting Biden and all that stuff. I don't care how he tried. He lied to people. He straight up lied to people. So we're going to play the clip, hear what he has to say for himself. But before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button. Share this out so we can get this information out there. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. And hit that alarm bell so you know when I'm putting out new stuff. Also, check out my link tree in the description. It has a link to my Patreon, and that's where I talk about things that I can't talk about here. There's also a link to my Instagram and my X account, so follow me there as well. All right, so let's get into this news. Now, this comes from the Daily Caller, and they report that Sirius XM Megyn Kelly has ripped into CNN anchor Jake Tapper over an incident 5 years ago when he pushed back against President Donald Trump's daughter-in-law, Laura Trump. In 2020, Tapper interviewed Laura Trump and claimed she was mocking Biden's stutter. Remember, we all seen that clip. And Tapper appeared on the Megyn Kelly show this week to discuss his and Axios reporter Alex Thompson's new book describing concerns over Biden's mental fitness during his term as president. So let's get right to the clip here. Here we go.
What I know now, obviously, I feel tremendous humility about my coverage, that Laura Trump interview, for example, et cetera. She saw something that I did not see at the time, 100%. And I own that. I did ask Joe Biden to be transparent about his health records in an interview in 2020. I did ask him about the fact that voters
but then he wasn't.
Thought that he was not transparent at all. No.
He promised you that he would be transparent about his health records, and then he wasn't. And when you sat with him again,
at all.
including 1 month after the Jackie Walorski thing, you didn't ask him about it. You didn't follow up on the fact that he was falling up the stairs, that he was losing his train of thought regularly, that he was slurring, that he was incomprehensible, that he was getting lost on the White House lawn. You sat right.
He was shaking hands with people that weren't there. I mean, it's so many incidents. We pointed this out over the years and the media ignored it. It's disgusting. It's disgusting.
Across from him, and you asked none of that, notwithstanding the fact that he had promised you he would be fully transparent about his health issues.
That's true. But I did ask him about his age and the fact that the American people had concluded that even though he said whenever anybody brought up the subject of his age, watch me. And I said, yes, they're watching you and they are concerned that you were too old for this job.
You know as well as I do that there's a way of, you can say, hey, there's this poll on your age, or you could say, you just forgot that Jackie Walorski was dead. You asked where she was moments after watching a videotape tribute to her. You lowered the flags at the White House after she died. This happened 13 days before you sat with him. There is a way of pressing a man like that on the actual infirmities to bring it home to him and to the audience, and you didn't do it.
Facts.
That's correct. I didn't. And like I said, I feel humility about my coverage. I mean, it's not like I was asking him his favorite movie or his favorite color. We were talking about Putin. We were talking about other issues of national importance.
That is national importance.
Of course, I've said I look back at my coverage with humility, and I wish I did cover the issues of age and acuity, but I wish I had covered them much more. And I wish, I mean, of course, it's May 2025. Do I wish that in that 10, 15-minute interview I had with Biden in October 2022, that this had been the only subject? Because I had then.
Well, it wasn't
what I know
just that,
now.
though, Jake. It wasn't just that. I mean, you sat with him a couple of times in the course of his presidency, and these issues were not pressed. Well, there was at least that time, and then there was the time at the the And but separate and apart from that, you covered the Biden's presidency. No. Let me just finish my point. You covered the Biden presidency.
I had one interview with him
and it was
during
13 days after the Jackie Walorski thing. But you covered the Biden presidency aggressively throughout the 4 years, and you didn't cover mental acuity hardly at all. I mean, time and time again, when issues came up, you seemed to be running cover for the president.
I don't
You didn't seem
think
interested.
that's true.
Well,
No,
I
that
mean, we'll
is
start
true.
with the Laura Trump issue.
The Laura Trump interview shows that you were running cover for him. I mean, you was not at least bit interested in what she had to say and the proof that she showed. Not even a little bit. You was caping for this man. The world's seen it. He act like we can't go back and we can't look at that video. Like we don't have receipts. Bruh, come on, man.
Issue that you referred, here it is. This happened in 2020.
Here you go.
Joe Biden, as we all know, has worked to overcome a stutter. How do you think it makes little kids with stutters feel when they see you make a comment like that?
First and foremost, I had no idea that Joe Biden ever suffered from a stutter. I think what we see on stage with Joe Biden, Jake, is very clearly a cognitive decline.
Okay.
That's what I'm referring to. It makes me uncomfortable
You have
to
no
watch somebody on stage search for
that's so
questions.
amazing.
You're trying to tell me that what I was suggesting was
I think that you
stuttering.
were mocking his stutter.
Joe
Yeah,
Biden.
I think you were mocking his stutter, and I think you have absolutely no
Jake.
standing to diagnose somebody's cognitive decline.
And it's very concerning to a lot of people that this could be the leader of the free world.
Okay.
That is all I'm saying. I genuinely
Thank you,
feel
Laura
sorry
Trump.
for Joe Biden.
I appreciate it. I'm sure it was from a place of concern. We all believe that. Laura Trump, thank you so much.
And he being sarcastic there. What an a-hole.
Do you want to apologize to Laura Trump now?
I've already apologized to her. I called her months ago.
And what did she say?
I mean, I don't want to disclose the contents of a private conversation, but I thought the conversation went well. And she has said this publicly, so I feel fine sharing it. She said that she would never mock anybody's stutter. But I mean, after we did the research for this book, and I realized how bad his acuity issues were, I called Laura Trump and I said, you were right.
She was totally.
I mean, what type of research did he really have to do? Other than, aside from the interviews, you didn't even need the interviews to verify what we already been seeing, what we already been hearing from Joe Biden. I mean, this dude is a despicable individual.
Right. That's the thing, because when I watched that clip, and I'm giving voice to what a lot of people watching the show are feeling, Jake, right. I feel angry because she was right. And not only did you not allow her to make her comments, but you seemed to try to humiliate her. You had a hostility toward the position, but she was totally right. And then you lectured her on how she was in no position to diagnose cognitive decline, which you guys do at length, including on page 4 of your book. You describe at length his cognitive decline, which is all she tried to do with you. But you had such a visceral reaction to her. And my feeling is that's because you didn't want to hear it.
That's it. That's it. That's it right there. They didn't want to hear anything contrary to what they already believe. They didn't want to hear any type of new information. Cognitive dissonance. That's what it was. On Sunday, Biden's office said the former president had been diagnosed with, quote, a more aggressive form of prostate cancer that had already metastasized to the bone. You know, we covered that already. And doctors and cancer experts have questioned the timeline of Biden's diagnosis, with some pointing out that the state of his cancer couldn't have developed in the last 100 to 200 days. So it was another lie, another cover-up by the Joe Biden administration. Only this time, the mainstream media is actually, some of the mainstream media is actually reporting on it and having real doctors talk about how there's no way all of a sudden this can happen. So the mainstream media is trying to get back some of that credibility that they lost over the years for the lies like Jake Tapper been doing over the years. But I don't think there's any way they'll get their credibility back, especially Jake Tapper. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this. Leave y'all comments down below. Like, share, and subscribe. And check out jjthepsychotherapist.com for the latest in news. Until next time, peace.